this press conference with a thank you to John Fox.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
You're listening to Rochester, Indiana's #1 podcast, the Tan and J-Man Show, featuring Josh Munt and Tanner Lee.
You are listening to episode 82 of Rochester's #1 podcast, the Tan and J-Man Show, sponsored by Fraufelder Dental Clinic, a great family-owned dental clinic that offers laser whitening and dental implants and your typical teeth cleaning. Go see Dr. Bill Fraufelder or Dr. DJ Fraufelder today for all your dental needs. Like them on Facebook and check out their website, www.stateoftheartsmile.com. You might think there's not a lot going on in the sports world, but we got, your typical Cubs report every week going on. NBA Finals over.
Thank God.
NBA season's come to an end. NHL season's to an end. Got the second of 4 golf majors coming up, so we got some stuff to talk about. But I think Birdie Bogey followed J-Man in the door today.
Treat. I want my birthdays all day long. Let the bogeys go. It's a hey.
It definitely followed me in. You're going to have to really pull this one out of a hat, in my opinion, because it's kind of a longer one. If my phone starts working, I'll bring it up for you. So, Steph Curry is the 8th player in NBA history with 3 NBA titles and multiple MVPs, season MVPs, joining what 7 players? You have to name all 7 that have 3 NBA titles and multiple league MVPs.
Wow.
All obviously Hall of Famers.
Or got to be Hall of Famers.
Or future Hall of Famers, yes.
All right. That's tough. Might be the toughest one you've ever asked me.
You have to bring it, man.
But let's go ahead and talk about the NBA Finals a little bit. I know you didn't watch any of it. There's not a lot to talk about as far as Game 4 is concerned. Cleveland, I thought, once they got down, they just kind of quit. But I'm not sure really how you beat Golden State, and I don't know if anybody's going to have the blueprint to beat Golden State next year.
No, we're going to be sitting here probably this time next year, and they will have won, 4 of the last 5? Because they've won, is it 3 or 4 right now?
Yep. Could have been all 4. They blew a 3-1 lead.
The only way I could see them possibly losing is if LeBron joins up in Houston.
Possibility.
Or someplace like that, because it doesn't matter what East team he goes to, they won't have enough to beat him.
I think right now, going into next year, you got 4 teams that have a good chance at making the finals. You got Golden State. I will put Houston up there, Philadelphia, and Boston, and then wherever LeBron goes.
Yeah.
And it could be one of those 4 teams.
Yeah. I saw odds came out today, Vegas odds of where LeBron will go. The Lakers had the highest odds at 2-1.
That's where my dad thinks he's going.
I was reading on Twitter today that LeBron and Paul George have kind of talked about maybe joining up together in Los Angeles, City of Angels.
Would the Lakers have to get rid of some of their other young guys?
I think they'd be well served to get rid of the clown show that is LeVar Ball and that whole Ball family.
Is it just me, or have we not heard from LeVar in quite a while?
Maybe the media is finally coming to their senses and just not, reporting on him.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much about him.
No.
I mean, maybe he is, but
maybe he's grown up and stopped talking, which I don't believe that to be true because it just doesn't seem like
fake news.
He's ever gonna grow up. So hopefully ESPN. At least I've kind of stopped watching or caring about ESPN.
Yeah,
so maybe that could be why.
I don't pay too much attention to him either. But yep, Golden State wins again. Annoying in my opinion. How do you think Kevin Durant's legacy is going to be looked upon?
He'd be all right. How
do you, as just your typical NBA fan, if you even call yourself a fan, I don't know, sports fan, how do you view Durant, his accomplishments of the rings. Do you give them full credit? Do you give him half credit because he kind of joined a team that was already pretty good without him? I mean, where does that matter?
I don't think it matters. I mean, you're going to try to win rings wherever you go, and he chose the spot he thought would give him the best shot at winning a ring. Now, if he would have stayed in Oklahoma City, and would have done it, we'd probably be talking, a lot better about him. But, I mean, he did what he had to do to get a ring, and he got it. Getting paid a lot of money, and he's probably a top 3 or 4 player in the league, if not the maybe second best player in the league.
Isn't it crazy to think that Steph has made 3 finals, and he's never been the finals MVP?
That is kind of funny.
Has won 3 finals. Iguodala once and KD twice, and Steph probably would have if he didn't have that cold game in Game 3.
Yeah.
He probably would have won a finals MVP. But.
Yeah, because he has 2 regular season MVPs, but he does not have a finals MVP, and he's played in 4 of them. So
correct. I think I mentioned this last week. Last week I had a Twitter poll going. It was created, I think, on Monday. It was, do you think LeBron will be back in Cleveland next year or not? 31 votes, 94% said no. So only one person said yes.
I wonder who that person was. Wasn't me.
Wasn't me. But, okay, so that kind of gave it away. Where do you think he is next year?
When does free agency start?
Good question. We got the draft coming up about 2 weeks.
Is it right after the draft?
Which Cleveland has the 8th pick in the draft. Could be interesting.
I've been saying Philadelphia. Really
I have too, but
I was kind of thinking that. I kind of saw it on Twitter. Can you really see a 34-year-old LeBron sitting in meetings with 19 to 23-year-olds all the time and hanging out with those kind of guys? Because I'm 26 and I don't like doing that. I remember when I was 19 to 23 years old, I wasn't the most likable. I'm pretty much the same person, but
worse.
Yeah, I'm a worse person. It's the beard. The beard's the only difference.
Got powers.
It does. Can you see him going to a Philadelphia and kind of hanging with Embiid and them?
If he doesn't go to Philly, I don't see him going anywhere else in the East. I know they said there's a small chance he could go to Boston.
I don't see that at all. I just don't see a fit there.
Maybe back to Miami?
It sounds like he might meet with them.
That's weird.
That would be weird.
I don't know. It just... I don't know, but I'm starting to think if he leaves Cleveland, I've been saying Philly all along, but I'm really starting to think it'd be out west.
I agree. I don't know why he'd leave the East because he'd have a free pass to the finals every year.
Makes the East a lot more interesting.
It does. I'm going to say Philadelphia, but if he goes to Miami, do you think Miami's roster with LeBron is better than Cleveland's roster with LeBron?
About the exact same.
About the same, yeah.
But without LeBron, Cleveland goes back to the dumpster.
If they didn't have LeBron this year, we'd be talking about a team that went like 27 and 55.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty interesting stuff to keep an eye on. But besides that, we don't really have to talk too much NBA for a while. It's kind of nice.
Can't wait to
kind of nice because those playoffs are
way
too long. Way too long. I do have a interesting question I wanted to ask you. I heard this the other day on either TV or some sports radio. I'm not really sure. But the Capitals beat the Las Vegas Golden Knights 4-1 to win their first ever Stanley Cup, giving one of the league's best players, Alex Ovechkin, his first Stanley Cup. So that got me thinking, what players in sports in other leagues active need a championship? Because Alex is one of the best players in the league, and that's all he was missing was a championship.
It's so hard to do it in baseball because it's so much harder in baseball to do.
Well, that's why I was thinking Mike Trout, but heck, he needs to make the playoffs first,
I mean, every other sport, you can be a superstar and lead your team to the playoffs. You have to have a full...
Especially basketball.
Yeah, really good 25-man roster to get to the playoffs in baseball.
In football, you still need some help. It's more easy to do it in football than it is baseball.
From the quarterback position, maybe a guy like Phillip Rivers.
That's exactly what I thought, douchebag.
A guy like him, Rodgers has done it. Eli's done it.
Roethlisberger's done it.
Flacco's done it. Russell Wilson's done it. So there's really not a quarterback.
Who would be next in line besides Rivers?
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, he'd probably be over Cousins, wouldn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Matty Ice might be it.
He had his shot.
He might be it. Because you really don't look at running backs or wide receivers and pin trophies. It's just all quarterbacks.
It's just quarterback.
It's no fair, really. Because it's a lot more that goes into the game than just quarterback play.
I would even say Matt Ryan more than Phillip Rivers needs it.
Yeah, I would say that too.
As for the NBA, it's tough.
How about Chris Paul?
James Harden, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Guys like that. I mean, people would have said Carmelo for years, but he's the most overrated superstar, maybe in the history of
nobody's
sports.
going to say anybody in Toronto like DeRozan. Nobody even bats an eye, which I watched a really good documentary. And if you haven't watched this, I'd go on Netflix and watch it. It's on Vince Carter and the city of Toronto and how Vince saved basketball in Toronto and made it into what it is today. Really good documentary on Netflix. Yeah, if anybody likes the sports and basketball, I checked it out. It's about an hour and a half long. It's pretty good.
The J-Man loves documentaries.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a good one. They also got another couple. I see they got one on Dirk up there. I haven't watched, and a few other guys, but that Vince one was really cool, and it was cool just watching him again in his prime.
Yeah, he was, and he's still freaking playing.
And why T-Mac left, and when he left, and everything, and how it affected their relationship a little bit, and how the city of Toronto and Vince didn't have a good relationship until 2014. Pretty interesting stuff.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of documentaries on Netflix, I believe 2 weeks after every 30 for 30 on ESPN, they put them on Netflix as well.
Didn't know that.
No, if you obviously.
I didn't know if ESPN Plus screwed up.
See, I have no clue. That was just what it used to be, so I might have screwed it up.
I mean, golfers, I can pick a lot of golfers that could use their first major, but we'll be talking about that here when we talk about the U.S. Open towards the end of the show, which we interviewed former writer for the Golf Channel and ESPN and current senior golf writer for the Action Network, Jason Sobel. His interview from last Monday is up on anywhere you listen to our podcast, on our website. Check it out. Yeah, especially if you like golf, I think you're really going to enjoy it. Got a lot of positive feedback from people who have listened to it that they thought was really cool and really enjoyed it. So thanks again to him for taking time to do that. That was really cool.
Going back to that question you just posed, would you view Matthew Stafford as kind of that guy, or because he plays in Detroit, he kind of gets a pass?
I don't think he gets a pass. He's still made He's made the playoffs twice. No, I forget about him because he plays in Detroit. There's just so many other young quarterbacks you can't put that label on yet. Yeah. But no, he'd be another good one. But there's just so many young quarterbacks around the league. But I just thought it was interesting because right away you think basketball, hockey, I couldn't name you another guy. Baseball, like you said, it's too hard. Yeah, I just thought it was kind of interesting. So, all right, let's talk about some baseball. Before we talk about your Cubs, I want to just talk about the Yankees just for a little bit. They lost to the Mets last night, 2-0, ending the Mets' 8-game losing streak.
I got a stat on that 8-game losing streak.
And first time the Yankees have been shut out this season.
Wow. Yep. Pretty good.
The Todd Frazier.
The Frazier.
2-run homer last night.
Did you see Jose Reyes double air?
I did. I did. I thought the Yankees were going to end up winning the game because of that.
I did too. He's a terrible human being. I mean, he beat the crap out of his wife, for one. Mets continue to keep him around.
Yeah, because the Rockies cut him right away when that happened.
And, I mean, he's with the Blue Jays and Marlins and all that, and people don't even remember that. I even forgot he was with the Rockies for like half a season, wasn't it? Yeah. But they're waiting for him to retire, but what they need to do is cut him and just...
They're cutting everybody else?
Old Yeller him.
They got rid of
Take him out
Gonzalez.
Back. They got rid of Adrian Gonzalez, really?
Yep. This morning.
Really? I did not see that.
Yeah, he has a lengthy contract left. Bye.
Are they paying that, though?
I don't know.
I want to say the Dodgers are still paying it because he was traded to the Braves.
Up the corpse of Jose Bautista.
Yeah, and he's worse than Adrian Gonzalez. They're just a crappy franchise. But the stat I had on him, and I'll let you get back to your Yankees. During that 8-game losing streak, their starters had an ERA of 2.16, and they lost all 8 games. It is the lowest ERA in an 8-game losing streak, lowest starters ERA in an 8-game losing streak since the Washington Senators in 1919, which was the last year of the dead ball era.
Good Lord.
Trash.
Yeah, their pitching hadn't been the problem. Even last night, I can't even think of the guy who started. He pitched to Jim last night.
Was it Steven Matz? Or
nope.
Was he Saturday?
Nope. Yeah, it wasn't him. If you said the name, it'd come up to me. I could look it up, but I really don't want to.
DeGrom was Friday or Saturday. Zach Wheeler.
Wasn't him. He has a short name.
Short name. Shoot. Yeah. Oh, crap. Is he right-handed? Because I think I remember who he is. His first name's Seth. Seth Lugo.
Seth Lugo, yep.
There we go. Yeah, man, coming through.
Yeah, he usually sucks, but...
He kind of shut the Cubs down, too. Cubs beat him, but...
Did enough last night. So, yeah, I thought the Yankees were... They had chances towards the end. I thought they were going to come back and win that thing, but they still won the series. So.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Are they done with the Mets yet? Or now?
I think they are. That's twice they've played them, so I think they got to be.
Got them at the right time.
They got the Nationals this week.
Ooh, big week.
Again.
Oh, is it a two-gamer?
It's because the rain.
And that's right. They got rained out a bunch.
What else did they play this week? God, I was really prepared for this segment. I think it's somebody in the division. Let me look.
The Yankees are a pretty good ball club. Are they leading the East?
I don't think so.
I think they're tied. Because Red Sox lost 2 of 3 over the weekend.
2-game series with the Nationals and then a series with Tampa Bay.
Oh, okay. The Red Sox lost 2 of 3 at home over the weekend to the Chicago White Sox.
The Yankees are a half game up on the Red Sox.
White Sox.
The Sox of white and the Sox of red.
And the White Sox beat Chris Sale, their old buddy.
Yeah, a little familiar with him. So I don't have a whole lot else on the Yankees. Gary Sanchez sucks. He's hitting 194 now.
Yeah, he's hitting homers.
I don't know what you do with. You don't option him down, but I don't know. Maybe you bench him or at least switch the order up.
Maybe you DH him so he doesn't have to catch and just worry about hitting because that's what he should be anyway because he's bad defensively at catcher.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who easily been DHing.
I don't know.
Yeah, because Austin Romine's been hitting pretty well when he's been playing. So, yep, but is what it is. So, Cubs had a pretty good week.
Yeah, that's a solid week.
7-1 loss yesterday, but so be it. But talk about Chris Bryant's slump. It seems like he's been in a slump for about 2 weeks now.
Yeah, it is the longest homerless stretch of his career. It's reached over 20 games now. He has not hit a homer since they played the White Sox, and that was middle of May. He's just kind of fighting his mechanics a little bit. His swing looks a little long. Missing pitches he usually crushes. Even during this slump, he's still a pretty dang good baseball player because he does so many other things. Gets on base, walks a ton. Great base runner. The other night against the Phillies, he stole second. Noticed no one was covering third, just kept on going and took third with, I think, nobody out. It was just heads-up base running. He'll get it going. This week would be ideal for him to hit like 4 or 5 homers because
big week.
Huge week. They go to Milwaukee and to St. Louis for 6-game road trip. It might be a longer road trip. I don't know who they play next week.
What record would make you happy with the two? 4-2?
3-3.
3-3?
I'd take 3-3. Honestly, I'm at the point where, especially in Milwaukee, since they're only a half game out, just don't get swept. Because
what record would make at Mutt Dog 16 happy? It's got to be 6-0.
Oh yeah, yeah. If they're gonna lose a game, I'd prefer it be to the Brewers after they got swept in St. Louis earlier in the year. But as I said, at this point, I'm just don't get swept in Milwaukee because if you leave Milwaukee 3.5 out, I won't be feeling too good. But if you're a game and a half out, it happens. It's gonna be tough. They've had the Brewers number all year. They've won 7 of their first 8 against them, but I don't like the pitching matchups because you have Tyler Chatwood going Tuesday and Mike Montgomery, who's been great, but he goes Wednesday, and I still don't really trust him. Jose Quintana has dominated the Brewers here his past 3 starts, and I don't think he's given up a run in the past 3 starts against them, maybe 1. He goes tonight against Junior Guerra for the Brewers. So big week. They won 4 of 6 last week against the Phillies and Pirates at home. Still doesn't feel like they're playing that great, but they've won 13 of their last 16, which can't really argue with that.
I still think their offense can do a lot more than what they've been doing.
They have a much higher level, especially with Bryant kind of slumping right now. And Javi Baez has been so bad this month. I think he's 2 for 24. Getting really nothing out of Addison Russell. Albert Almora is still doing fairly well, but Jason Hayward's been a kind of a resurgent hitter so far here.
I think it was all your tweet.
3, yeah, dude, it was. The past 2 or 3 weeks, really, since he came off the disabled list with a concussion. Maybe that kind of knocks some...
Sits into him.
Yeah, knocks some talent into him. He's in the best stretch he's had since he's come to the Cubs. I don't know really what his stats are right now, but he hit biggest homer, at least of his Cubs career. They were down 5-3 in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs against the Phillies. Bases loaded. Adam Morgan's in, who had not given up an extra base hit to a lefty all year. Jason Hayward's hitting 139 against lefty. I was just kind of hoping, bloop one in, tie the game. Maybe he could hit a little broken bat, little flare over the shortstop, because that's about all I thought he could do. Son of a gun puts a charge into one, hits it 415 feet, and the Cubs win. Really big
So
win.
the press box was literally rocking.
Yeah, Wrigley gets loud.
Playoff environment.
Wrigley gets loud for kind of...
Small stadium. Can we call it small?
Yeah, it's smallish. But against a non-divisional opponent on a Wednesday night, it's pretty dang loud. So, big week coming up. And this will be the J-Man's Book It prediction of the week.
Dano, hold it a minute. I want to book this one.
The Cubs will leave St. Louis on Sunday night in first place. They're half game out right now. They will leave in first place.
That is bold, folks.
That is bold for me. That's pretty positive for the J-Man.
And you don't want anything bold to happen in your life, but if it does, contact Travis Watring, Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent, and the weekly sponsor of the J-Man's Book Prediction of the Week. And here is a small little blurb from Travis himself.
It's Watrin with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. I'm a multi-line agent specializing in life, home, renters, auto, business insurance, workers' compensation, and farm insurance. Please contact me at travis.watring@infb.com or 219-869-4561. And my business Twitter is @TTW_IFBI.
Got a little game for you.
Okay.
Contender or Pretender baseball edition.
I like games. You want to play a game? Yes, I do.
These teams I'm having up there are kind of the obvious kind of bubble teams, if you will. I've excluded teams that people thought would be good and are good and are there, like the Astros, Indians, Yankees, Red Sox, Nationals, Cubs, Dodgers. But these other teams, are they a contender or a pretender?
Let's do it.
Starting with the Seattle Mariners. They have the best record in the American League West right now. Are they a contender or a pretender?
I think pretender.
You think pretender?
And my only reason, don't have a good reason, they haven't made the playoffs since 2001. Don't have a lot of guys with the experience of winning. Mm-hmm. I feel like they've been in this position a few times the past few years in June and just fall off. So
yes,
till they can prove it to me, pretender.
I'm going to say they are a contender, mainly because they've banked enough wins to where they only have to go one game over 500 to finish with 90 wins on the season. I think they've played so much better than their true talent says they should be. They're without Robbie Cano, but they're getting really good pitching from James Paxton. He's been an absolute stud this year. A couple other guys, Mike Leake's been fairly good. Marco Gonzalez been good. Good back end of the bullpen with Edwin Diaz in the bullpen. I don't think they're that great of a team, but they're probably the odds-on favorite for that second wild card spot right now. That's really the only team in the American League that's worthy of being mentioned. National League, got a couple teams. Phillies, contender or pretender?
They were one of my wild card picks at the start of the year. Gotta say pretender once again. Some of these teams I haven't seen them be good in a number of years. So until I see it, I like what some of their players are doing. I like how Jake Arrieta's been pitching, but I don't know. I don't watch the Phillies enough. So
I'm gonna say pretender as well. Their offense is not good. They need a bat. are they trying to contend or are they trying to develop? They're trying to do both right now.
Hard to do.
And some of the moves Gabe Kapler's made with his lineup and who's playing where just kind of baffled me. But they have a really good pitching staff, starting rotation. Aaron Nola is the best kept secret in all of baseball. He's been a top 10 pitcher in the game this year. Jake Arrieta pitching really well. He wasn't very good on Saturday against the Brewers, which I wish he would have been, but for the most part, he's been good. Zach Eflin's pitched well. Nick Pavetta's pitched well. They have another guy in there that I'm kind of blanking on the name, but I think Vincent Velasquez is his name. Their pitching's good enough. I do not think their bullpen's very good, and their offense isn't good at all. They're going to have to make some moves at the deadline if they want to stay in the race, but will they? Because they're kind of gearing up for maybe 2019 to where they can make a big run at like a Bryce Harper or a Manny Machado. They need a big bat in there. So I'm going to say pretender as well. The Atlanta Braves.
Oh, talk about a young team. I'm going to say contender. Just because I've said pretender in the others and I want to switch it around. The most I've seen them play this year is when they faced the Cubs a couple weeks or so back. They impressed me then, and that's what I'm going off of.
I will also say contender. That offense is legit. They have one of the best offenses in the National League. Freddie Freeman's probably the best first baseman in the NL and probably the majors. Maybe it's probably Joey Votto. I'm sure once Andrew listens to this, he'll rip my head off for forgetting about Votto. But getting great contributions from Ozzie Albies at second base. Ronald Acuna, he's out for a few weeks, maybe a month. And once he comes back, Nick Markakis has been really good out in right field. Starting rotation's a bit of a question mark. They really don't have a guy that you look at and said, man, that guy's going to go win me a playoff game. Probably need a starting pitcher at the deadline. Their bullpen's fairly solid, so I'm going to say contender. Arizona Diamondbacks.
Contender.
I am also going to say contender. I think they're the best team in the West right now. They had a big-time kind of slump where that's the reason why they're only 2.5 games up on the Dodgers and Giants. But I think they're really good offense, and they're pitching with Zach Greinke and Patrick Corbin. I do think they need some bullpen help, but that'll likely come here within the next month or two. San Francisco Giants.
They've come on as of late. I'm going to say contender just because of who their manager is.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy. He's a really good manager.
One of the best in the game. So
I'm going to say contender as well. Madison Bumgarner is back. Johnny Cueto threw 40 pitches in a simulated game today, so he'll be back shortly. Their offense is really old. They had one of the more puzzling off seasons I can remember where it felt like their window of opportunity was closed, but then they go and trade for a 32-year-old outfielder in Andrew McCutchen and trade for a 30-some-year-old infielder in Evan Longoria. Two guys probably past their prime, but they're hanging in there, and I don't think they'll be a playoff team, but I think they'll stay in it. Last team, Colorado Rockies.
Pretender.
Yeah, I'm going to...
They're so puzzling right now. Winning record on the road, big-time losing record at home. Been hitting worse, really, in stretches in franchise history. They've got the bats going as of late. Carlos Gonzalez, Trevor Story, some guys that were struggling really coming on. But now the pitching slipped. So they get one piece of the puzzle figured out, can't get the other. Yeah, I just in the rest of their divisions coming on, I just don't see it.
I'm going to say pretender as well. They have the worst offense in the National League by pretty much every metric, which is really weird, especially playing in that ballpark and you have two really good players in Arenado and Charlie Blackmon. Their pitching's not good. Their two big free agent acquisitions, Wade Davis and Brian Shaw, have been a whole bunch of mediocre so far this year. I think Wade Davis has blown 4 saves this year, and he blew 1 all of last year, and it came like the last week.
I think a lot of those 4 are pretty recent.
Yeah, they have come within the last 2 weeks.
Not good.
Last year, I mean, they made the playoffs, but they were probably 12 games better than their actual true talent would tell you as far as, like, run differential. They were more like an 81 team, and they won 90 games or something like that. So I think they are a pretender.
If they are in contention around trade deadline, this is just my speculation. Look for them to try to make a move for Jose Abreu.
Jose Abreu.
That's just my speculation. I got nothing.
I think he ends up in Los Angeles with the Dodgers. I think they would be well served to try to trade Carlos Gonzalez and DJ LeMahieu. Kind of sell high on those guys.
Well, Carlos is
the problem
contract.
Yeah, and that's why you would. The problem with DJ LeMahieu, his offense is all course field driven. On the road, he has like a 575 OPS.
Well, they're not going to be able to re-sign him anyways because they already re-signed Blackman or gave him a big contract extension, and then Nolan's going to cost a lot of money, so they're not going to be able to.
That is the J-Man's contender or pretender.
Yeah, I got 2 more baseball notes, and then we'll move on to some little U.S. Open talk. I want you to talk about Safeco Field. I know last year, maybe it was the year before when we just started doing this podcast, you went to Baltimore. You told us about your experience going to watch the Dolphins play Baltimore. I just like hearing about different stadiums, so tell me what you liked and didn't like about Safeco Field while you're in Seattle.
I didn't get to see much of Safeco because my dad, who he works for, we got a big old suite with food and all that, so I just kind of stayed in the suite because J-Man likes to eat. But it's a really nice stadium. I mean, it was a beautiful day. It was about 66. It never gets warm in Seattle, but roof was open, 66 degrees and sunny. It was a fairly good crowd for them, maybe about 32,000. Nice stadium. It was a lot like it's so hard to compare baseball stadiums because all of them are so different, but it kind of had a Great American Ballpark type feel to it, where it was pretty nice but didn't really blow you away. But yeah, it was
cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Nice field.
Another thing is, I don't think you do, I doubt you do, but do you follow Alex Rodriguez on Instagram?
No.
He's really good at what he does, breaking down the game of baseball, at least in my opinion. He took about a 90-second video yesterday breaking down Luis Severino and some of the changes he's made. It was really interesting. He was talking about how he hides his pitches like Pedro used to because he worked with Pedro in the offseason. And A-Rod was showing folks how batters can see what pitches are coming if pitchers aren't careful. And I've never thought about the game in that sense. And it was unbelievable to show, like, if they just show a little white here, it's a fastball, then you grip it different, it's a changeup. That's just stuff the ordinary fan that's not a baseball junkie like you are. I don't pick up on that stuff until somebody explains it to me, and I thought that was pretty fascinating. So if you want to see something cool, go follow A-Rod on Instagram or just look him up on Instagram and check that out. Pretty cool.
I was reading something kind of like that, how hitters can recognize curveballs and fastballs and all that, and they say a slider is just this little dot that you can see kind of spinning, but their hand-eye coordination and reaction time is just out of this world, and that's why they're playing.
That's why they get paid to do what they do.
Baseball. Yep.
U.S. Open, second big major out of the 4 in golf.
I thought it was this last week.
No, I knew you said that.
Yeah, I said it on the pod.
Yesterday was the FedEx St. Jude, which Dustin Johnson won by 6 strokes. Holed out for an eagle 2 on the last hole, even though he didn't need to. It was pretty cool. He regained number 1 ranking in the world over Justin Thomas. U.S. Open starts this Thursday at Shinnecock Hills in New York. It's the 5th time the U.S. Open's been at Shinnecock Hills. First time since 2004 when Retief Goosen beat Phil Mickelson by 2 strokes. A lot of different headlines going into the U.S. Open. Of course, one's Tiger Woods. How's Tiger going to do in the second major of the year? He's played pretty good, at least for 3 rounds during various tournaments since the Masters. How's he going to fare? Can Phil Mickelson finally get a U.S. Open and win the career Grand Slam of the majors? How's Dustin Johnson, who's been playing spectacular, how's he going to do? How's Justin Thomas going to do? Is Jordan Spieth going to be able to putt well enough to get in? Can Ricky Fowler finally knock down the door and get his first major? Can a guy like Matt Kuchar get his first major? Just a lot of different storylines. Rory McIlroy, can he get his first major in a while? So a lot of different guys to keep an eye on. And I know Jason Sobel last week liked the chances of Justin Thomas. He also kind of sounded like he liked the chances of Tiger. I don't know. It's going to be a really fun tournament to watch. I don't know who I'm going to pick. I got to decide here soon. But who are you going with?
As someone that really knows very little about golf or follows golf, I think it'd be, just because of how much you wouldn't like it, I think it'd be awesome if Tiger Woods won.
Twitter would blow up, man.
Yeah, it really would.
It'd be his first major win since the 2008 U.S. Open.
That was a decade
ago.
I'm just going to pick Ricky Fowler just so I can look like a genius if he actually does it.
I'm not picking Ricky. I think he'll play well. I just don't have that feeling that his time's right now. I think his time's very soon. I'm just not feeling it for this one. He did get engaged last week, though. So maybe his time is now. He did get second at the Masters. I'm not picking this guy, but watch out for Patrick Reed. Get no respect for being a Masters winner. I feel like he's not getting any respect or talk about it all.
Has anyone won all 4 of them in the same season?
I don't believe so. Tiger almost. Tiger did a U.S., British, PGA, then following Masters.
Oh, wow.
So he won 3 in 2000, then the following 2001. They called it the Tiger Slam. You rarely see people win 2 in the same year. There's just so many guys who can contend. All day I was thinking Dustin Johnson, the way he's been playing, especially this past week. But something tells me Rory McIlroy's going to get it done. I don't know why.
Who are the top 5 ranked golfers in the world right now?
Number 1 is Dustin Johnson. 2 is Justin Thomas. 3 is Justin Rose, I believe. 4 is Jordan Spieth. Honestly, I don't know who 5 is off the top of my head. I know Ricky's 7.
Take those 5. I'll just include Ricky in there.
Yeah.
Would you pick one of those guys or the field?
I think 5 might be McIlroy. No, I think about it. It's tough not to pick against the field or not to go with the field, especially in a U.S. Open setup. So I'm going to have to take the field. Just too many good players.
Field.
Kind of boring, but too many good players. I did hear a guy today when I was driving up on 31 today. I was listening to a little PGA Tour radio, and one guy said he would take the Spring Breakers over the field, which is pretty much Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, or Ricky Fowler. He'd take them over the field. Hank Haney goes, "What?" He goes, "Oh, those 3. Spieth's the only one who has a chance. He didn't even give Justin Thomas a chance. He's number 2 in the world." So I hope it'd be kind of funny to see Justin or Ricky win and prove Hank Haney wrong. But
Hank.
Yeah, I'm going with Rory McIlroy. Couple interesting stats I've read. There's only 2 players who have made 5 straight U.S. Open cuts.
Only 5? Is that what you said? Or 2?
Only 2 who have made 5 straight.
2 that have made 5 straight.
Sergio Garcia and Matt Kuchar.
Huh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I would have never guessed.
Where is Shinnecock Hills?
New York.
It seems like they put the U.S. Open in New York a lot.
And New York fans love Phil Mickelson. So if Phil gets in contention, which most fans do, but if Phil gets in contention, it's going to get rowdy.
Yes.
It's going to get very rowdy. I don't know. Phil played well this week. I think he got a top 20 finish, I think. I don't think it was quite a top 10. But he did shoot a 65, I believe, yesterday. So we'll see. I don't know. Thursday will tell a lot for Phil. But USGA tries to make the winning score right around even par, if not just a couple under. It's very rare that.
Was it last year that guys were shooting really well?
Yeah, Brooks Koepka, who was another guy who could contend. He killed it at Aaron Hills last year, dominated everybody. Roy McIlroy years ago at Pebble killed everybody. So once in a while you'll see an outlier and somebody dominates them, but usually it's pretty close. And what sets the U.S. Open different is they try to set it up to be the toughest major. The rough's super high. It's the only major covered by Fox. Fox covers all the USGA events, so yay, we get to listen to Joe Buck this week. God. And then it also, if there's a playoff, they play 18 holes the next day. It's not like a one sudden death playoff or a 3-hole playoff like some of the other ones are. It's 18 holes the next day, which when Tiger beat Rocco Mediate at Torrey Pines in 08, it took him 19 holes. Rocco took him to a 19th hole, and now Rocco's on the senior tour, and he's only has 3 wins to his name, so that's what he's most famous for. So Tiger did it all on the torn ACL.
Interesting.
Yep. So you got any other notes? I got a couple, but I'm
Justify.
Triple Crown.
Triple Crown.
13th ever.
That really doesn't really.
See, Gronkowski got second.
I did. The Triple Crown and horse racing doesn't really do much for me. You know, it's kind of cool, but it's just a horse running around the track faster
it's pretty impressive. It's
for 3 straight.
More kudos goes to the trainer,
right,
than anything. But
he's probably the guy. I don't remember his name. That is the trainer,
Bob or Bruce something. It's not to be Buffer or something. He looks like a prick.
And I don't think it's Bruce Buffer.
It's something.
But yeah, he's probably the greatest horse trainer of all time. Because didn't he train...
McInfarrow, 15, and some other ones. Maybe even California Chrome. And
Did you watch it?
No.
The J-Man watched it.
Where was I Sunday?
Probably golf course.
I was golfing.
Saturday.
I was golfing Saturday. Yep. That happened also over the weekend. Nobody really cares. I doubt anybody listening to this even watched it. Are you going to
say some wrestling thing?
Not technically. I was going to talk UFC, but it kind of tied into wrestling. A former wrestler, big Chicago Cubs fan, CM Punk, showed that, okay, it's time to get this experiment over. He is now 0-2 and has gotten embarrassed twice. He will never fight in the UFC again. He's 39 years old. He was lucky to get this second fight, and he got embarrassed in front of his hometown crowd. It's time to cut ties with the experiment. He either can go back to professional wrestling, which it wouldn't be with the WWE, it'd be somewhere else because that relationship's gone wayside, or just do something else. He can't fight. I give him credit for not giving up. He hung in there for 3 rounds, got his butt whooped, but he can't do it. So that's all I got on UFC. I don't have anything else. But a couple quick notes. Shane Ray, I mentioned a few weeks ago how the Broncos decided not to give him that franchise tender. Well, he's got to have his 4th wrist surgery. So the Broncos are pretty smart, it looks like, for not giving him that tender for next year because he will miss a few weeks at least to start the season. And then a Purdue sports note, I mentioned a few weeks ago they were going after quarterback, Clemson transferring quarterback Hunter Johnson. He committed to Northwestern today. So there was a past relationship already set there. Northwestern pretty much guaranteed him that he could come in and start next year after Thorson graduates. Purdue couldn't really guarantee him so much. I don't know if Indiana could or not. I know Duke was in the mix, but he's going to Northwestern. So he will be in the Big Ten starting in 2019 with 3 years eligibility.
Football.
So that's the only Purdue-related note. They did have a quarterback on campus yesterday, a 3-star from California. He's supposed to decide this week between Purdue and Oregon State. So
go Oregon State!
I would think Purdue has a good chance now that came out. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with Jeff Brom and his staff, the recruiting class they've put together so far for 2019. And I got nothing to report on Purdue's basketball front recruiting. Not too much going on there. Anything in Illinois going on? Oh, okay. I didn't know if there's anything basketball related.
They did announce that they're going to do a $30 million renovation to their basketball facility, so I guess that's kind of big.
Does that have anything to do with hockey? Because I saw they are getting a hockey program.
That was the most misleading headline I've ever seen. They said maybe someday.
Really? I thought it was like a guaranteed thing.
It was the dumbest headline ever.
So.
Yeah, I didn't either because I knew it was clickbait because Jeremy Warner, who writes for Scout.com, he's an Illinois insider. I read it all.
There we go.
It was so.
All right, hit me up with Birdie Bogey.
Steph Curry became the 8th player ever to win 3 NBA titles and multiple league MVPs. Name the other 7 to have done this feat.
Kobe Bryant.
I'll have to look it up now. I'm pretty sure Kobe did it, though.
I'll wait for you to look it up. So if I'm wrong, I'll just...
No.
First guess, and I missed it. He didn't win multiple league MVPs.
He must not have.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's not on this list. Dude, just keep throwing out guesses. LeBron is one of them.
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell is one of them.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of them.
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson's one of them.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird's one of them. 2 more.
Yeah, I'm thinking Kevin Durant?
No. He's only won 2 titles for one.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you're missing number 23.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Let's get into it.
This one would be a little tougher. He will be a Hall of Famer, though.
Will be, so he's not. Tim Duncan.
Yes.
I can't believe Kobe. Wow. Okay.
It would obviously be the or Shaq.
Shaq had I think Shaq only won 1 MVP though.
Kobe must have as well. That does kind of surprise me now that
I suck. Another bogey.
Yeah, you do suck.
Another bogey. So, want to take us home, J-Man?
That was the 82nd edition of the Tan and J-Man Show. Streaming on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, and Google Play. Like us on Facebook, The Tan and J-Man Show. Follow us on Twitter, @Tan and J-Man Show. Also check out our YouTube channel. And follow us on Instagram, @The Tan and J-Man Show. Check out our website, tanandjmanshow.com. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and we will see you next week.